Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I am streaming on YouTube and I am also streaming on Instagram simultaneously. And I wanted to get on here to say hi, but also I wanted to get on here because I, like everybody else, have been seeing the viral clips of the Joe Rogan Theo Vaughn interview that happened yesterday. And it just has me thinking what everybody else is, but what so many content creators won't say. And that question is Joe Rogan compromised? What was going on in that interview that Joe Rogan was gaslighting Theo Vaughn into making him feel like he needed to get off of his medication or he's going crazy? And it just felt so reminiscent of when people have done that to Kanye or Michael Jackson or Britney Spears or whoever it is in history. We've done that time and time again. So we're going to go over some of the clips. If you're on Instagram, I'm also streaming on my YouTube right now, but on my YouTube, you'll be able to actually see the clips. Here, you're probably only going to be able to hear them. But look, you guys know I voted for President Trump. I was an independent wanting RFK Jr. I ended up joining and voting for President Trump, and it has been very disappointing this war because President Trump ran on no new wars. And I asked you guys this in my Instagram poll. Is this epic fury or epic fail? A lot of you guys said epic fail. Now, I know a lot of the Fox viewers are like, you just have to trust him. This is the most important thing. He's doing all of these things. And look, I don't claim to know everything, right? But my gut, my intuition is telling me that something is off. And I feel like what Theo Vaughn was trying to say, remember, Theo also had Donald Trump on his podcast, spotlighted him, gave him all of those viewers. He had that, famous clip with the owl on the pole or whatever it was. And I think Theo feels like a lot of us do, that we were rug pulled, like they say in the crypto world, right? We were bait and switched. So there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I voted for this guy. He's not coming true on the promises that he's made, right? And calling that out. Whitney, hello. It's so good to see you. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and play some of those clips. The first one is the famous one where Theo basically is laying out a bunch of stuff and Joe Rogan says, you've lost your marbles. And that's where I think people are like, he's gaslighting you. Like, did he get the call? And why is this? So, I'm a little rusty here. This is my first live since being a new mom. And look, we're averaging like 2.5 hours of sleep. This morning I woke up. I wasn't doing, my best. But like I said on the Today Show with James, I'm hanging on by a matcha. All right, here we go. Allow. Hopefully I'm doing this right. All right, here we go. Oops. Let's get, let me know on YouTube if you can see this correctly. And hopefully on Instagram you can hear this clip, although I'm sure you're already very familiar with it. Let's listen here.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel and they're using it to fucking genocide people. It's like everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like our religious leaders are afraid to speak out. And it's like it's a time where it's like Satan is amongst us and our religious leaders are fucking talking about bullshit at the poll. It's just like, what is going, I don't know, man.
We got to get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here. It's all just a cat and mouse.
And I have to say, that's my favorite part of the interview is when he goes, come hang out with us, man. Like, you're losing your marbles. You need to come hang out with us. And Theo's like, I'm here. What else do you want? I'm here. I'm here speaking truth. I'm here spitting truth. You might not like it, but it's the facts, right? Whether or not Joe just agrees with the mainstream media, Fox agenda, whether he got a call from Dana White at UFC and said, you better get your boy under control. Right? I got a call from Trump, you better get your boy under control. I don't know what it is. But it's interesting how Joe Rogan is known for going down every single conspiracy, right? He'll talk about Bigfoot, he'll talk about aliens, he'll talk about Göbekli Tepe and all these things, ancient cities and pyramids being, conduits for, energy, free energy sources and vibrations. But it comes to this topic, and all of a sudden, he's lost his marbles. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, in history, we've always said that people are losing their marbles when they start speaking truth. All of a sudden, right? Kanye West goes out there. Kanye West comes out with the album Christ is King. Boom. At that point, if you go back in history, Kanye West has always been this artist, this, crazy genius, people say. And people say, oh, it's when he was, calling out, different religions and this and that. No. The attacks on Kanye really started happening when he came out with the album Christ is King, in my opinion. People say now Michael Jackson was vilified. Britney Spears, Brittany Murphy, right? All these people, they're going crazy, right? Isaac Cappy, the most famous one. Here on my YouTube channel, Viva Law Ireland said, I'm watching Joe Rogan since day one. He's definitely not the same Joe. He's only a gatekeeper now. Mar R310, thank you so much for being here. Said Joe lied about being in Utah hunting when he was live with Charlie Sheen when he heard about Charlie Kirk. Why do an Erica Kirk, Joe? Shaking my head. 80% of his guests are compromised. I love you guys so much. Naomi, ideal manager, good to see you. And look, I know a lot of my peers aren't going to do this story because they want to get on Joe Rogan's show. Joe Rogan is the king of podcasts, right? It's like once you've been on Joe Rogan, you've made it. At the end of the day, like I'm not going to not call out the obvious because I want to get on Joe Rogan one day. And if Joe Rogan has been compromised and you can't even have a conversation about what's really going on in the world and at least express your opinions without being gaslit and called you're crazy, I never want to go on that. Here's another clip from the interview where Theo Von is expressing another very common sentiment about putting boots on the ground. Why are these rich elites, is what Theo Von said, but obviously he's talking about the politicians. Lindsey Graham's out here at Disneyland with a fucking bubble wand when he has no kids and no family, saying, we need to do this, we need to do that. Why aren't their kids going to war? This is ridiculous. Let's watch this clip here.
I'm just sick of this shit. And I'm sick of rich people not putting their fucking kids over in these wars and shit like that. Put your fucking honky ass kids up there. Let them go shed some fucking blood.
Especially if you're asking for it.
Especially if you're out there fucking bullshitting, dude. Put your fucking honky little fancy ass fucking kid up there, man. That shit makes me mad, bro.
What?
I'm just sick of this shit. And I'm sick of rich people not putting their...
And like I said, I'm a new mom. I have a son. It makes me sick. It makes me sick, right? When you watch those videos, baby boy's doing good. Thank you so much. When you watch those, but these eye bags, ladies and gentlemen, they're popping out, right? I try to do the best I can with the makeup, but 2 hours of sleep. When I watch those videos of people hugging their sons, you know, to go fight for what? It makes me sick. It makes me sad. I feel like Theo. People feel like Theo. I'm not saying everybody feels like Theo, but a lot of people feel like Theo. Right? A lot of people don't understand why. A lot of people want peace. This was the president that said, we're going to have diplomacy. There's the brain under eye bags coming in. And, I have my mom calling me. My mom has her friend saying, is Danny turning into a liberal? No, Danny is keeping her principles that I've had since the very beginning. I have been against the warmongers. So many of us have. Never-ending forever wars. Julian Assange. Funneling money back to the elites. What are we doing? And I'm a hopeless optimist. So I always am hoping that we're going to do better. Someone's going to come in. We're going to, stand up as a people. We're going to unite. It's going to be like the Ants movie. Right? Where we find out together we're a lot more powerful than the grasshoppers. But then you've got George Soros out here funding No Kings protests, and they're trying to pretend it's authentic when it's around the world and they've got frickin' ice sculptures there. People can't even afford ice sculptures at their wedding. I'm surprised they weren't turning it into an ice luge. We're distracted by all this ridiculous stuff. Where are the no pedos protests? Where's the no war protests? Those are the protests that are organic. Those are the ones we want to see. And then Theo Von comes out today and he's coming out here saying, what I meant to say is this. But what do I know? Let's read Theo Von's tweet that he made after this started to go viral. Theo said, I gotta put this on camera for you guys. Theo Von said, I meant the elites and politicians that are leading us into these wars might make different choices if it was their children. It was hard for me to be angry and talk at the same time. I'm thankful for our troops who serve and are far braver than me. Also, what the fuck do I know? We knew exactly what you meant. And your anger and your feeling is how a lot of us feel. We feel rug pulled. We feel bait and switch. We feel this is wrong. You don't need to explain yourself. And the fact that he also has to say, what the F do I know? Makes you wonder also if he was like, you better say, you don't know, just play that, country boy that doesn't know much. And I said this on the Today-ish podcast with James Lee on Tuesday. I said that, when Theo Von was on Road Rules Real Worlds, and I was watching him when I was like 15, 16 years old, I used to think, oh my gosh. You want to know what's so funny, you guys? I'm talking into a microphone that's not plugged in. Give me 1 second. My goodness. I'm wearing my matcha set today. I'm going to plug this microphone in. Lord have mercy. Hopefully, here I have my microphone on. Hopefully here you guys can still hear me. But anyways, I said this back in the day. Let me know on YouTube if you can hear me now that I plugged in the microphone. We're hanging on by a thread. Anyways, I said on Tuesday with James, I said, when Theo Von was on like Road Rules Real World Challenge, I used to think and I was like 15, 16. I used to think, oh my God, this guy is dumb. That's what I used to think about Theo Von. And Mar R310 said, Danny, you don't need a mic. Oh, trust me, I know. But I actually think it might take away the echo a little bit from my loud voice. It was funny, my dad, when I was going back into the studio, he goes, after having the baby, he goes, how's your vocal cords? Are you going to be okay to go on the podcast? And I said, are you kidding me? I've never whispered so much in my life. I'm ready to scream at the rooftop. But yeah, so I thought Theo Vaughn was kind of dumb back in the day. And now I realize he's actually brilliant, and he uses his quirky, smart, unique perspective to provide unbelievable interviews, insight, and humor. And I feel like he's going out on a limb, right? It reminds me of COVID. That's when I even started my channel to begin with. The Moto Cat 1, good to see you. We were not allowed to talk about vaccines. We were not allowed to talk about COVID. You were not allowed to. And back then, Joe Rogan was, right? Gave him a lot of credibility. It's like, yeah, he's talking about COVID. He's talking about ivermectin. He's talking about the vaccines. He's talking about lockdowns. He's bringing on Peter McCullough and Dr. Robert Malone and all of these people that, were being censored at the time. Right now, this war and Israel and what's going on, that is the new COVID. You are not allowed to talk about that. That concerns me. WFF, a lot of people think stands for what the F or da-da, stands for World for Freedom. And being a woman in the United States, my ability to use my loud ass foghorn voice is extremely important to me. Our First Amendment is extremely important to me. And the fact that we have some of the biggest voices in the world trying to censor our peers and call them crazy for what they think concerns me. Why aren't we allowed to talk about this? And so I'm going to. Now, probably never going to go on Joe Rogan's show with the story that I just did. But you know what? Oh, well. It's funny because a couple of weeks ago, I was saying with these No Kings protests, I go, how are we going to win this fight against evil? How are we going to win this fight against evil? Because if you know me or if you don't, but if you've been a viewer for a while, you know that I have believed for a very long time that we are in a spiritual war. This is good versus evil. It's plain and simple. Okay? Whether you believe in God or you don't, if you like the Harry Potter movies, Star Wars, whatever you want to call it, we are in a fight. This is good versus evil. And to me, war is evil. Peace is good. I'm on the side of good always. Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to win a political race. I'm not trying to make sure my party gets into office. No, I'm trying to get my seat in heaven, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get my seat in heaven. What do I pray for every night? World peace. So I was thinking the other day, what could we do as a people to come together against this billionaire funded No Kings protest? And I thought, you know what we need to do? We need to get the Theo Vaughns and the Joe Rogans and all the bigwigs on the same page, right? To say, hey, we're the voice of the people. We've got hundreds of millions of followers. We want you to know we are going to be doing our own protests on this day. Get in the street. This is a revolution. That's what I was hoping for. That we have to come together. The big wigs have to come together, you know? And then I see this interview and I'm like, well, I guess Joe's not on board. But Theo's doing the people's work. And I bet it's terrifying for him. I bet it's terrifying for him. Because we see what happens when people change their mind about certain topics. Charlie Kirk comes to mind. You have to be brave to speak out against these evil, satanic forces. You have to be brave. And that's what Theo Vaughn is. Theo Vaughn is being brave. He's being brave for me. He's being brave for you. He's being brave for a lot of people. And hey, look, if you have a different opinion about this war, that's also fine. Like I just said, world for freedom. I want you to have your opinions. I want everybody to have their opinions. If you're for this and you think that this is the way to rid evil or whatever, fine. But I'm not going to censor my opinions and what I believe to be a part of the cool kids club. To say my vote counted. No. I was rug pulled. So were many Americans. Many people that voted thought that we were voting for no wars. What can you do? You know? Except for pray and hope that more people like Theo Von come together and speak out and say, this is wrong. This is how the people are feeling. And doing it around the world. There is no way that people are doing no kings protests around the world, but we can't get a no pedo protest. Now, I never heard the saying before, slurp on little kids, but it's going to be a new one. JohnTron 3000 on Instagram said, I don't appreciate Joe doing him like that. I agree. Astatio61 said, you are 100% right. Mar R310 on YouTube said 100. I don't appreciate Joe doing him like this either. And, I posted the story on Instagram and, people agree. And then there's some people that are saying, you've obviously never watched Joe Rogan. I've watched Joe Rogan like 1,000,000 times. And the last few times he's had Theo Von on and Theo Von has said a speck of something against this war or against Joe Rogan shuts it down fast. And that's why finally I'm like, I got to do a video. I got to get on here. I got to do a live because this isn't the first time. It makes me uncomfortable to see because it doesn't feel right. Something feels disingenuous. Something feels off. Right? You explore every conspiracy theory and every opinion, but this is where you draw the line? Why? It very well may be the Dana White call. No one wants to mess up that UFC 250. Remember, for the White House. For the United States 250th birthday, we're doing a UFC fight on the lawn. Gotta make it till July. And hey, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying it's something. It's something. To call out somebody's medication, also like HIPAA violation. Huge red flag. Chris Sag said huge red flag. Totally agree. And, it's tough because it's like, James and I interviewed a friend of Joe's, yesterday. And it's like, I don't want to go after anybody, but like, I've got eyes, I've got ears. I'm not going to just, not speak out on this. And the reason why I feel like it's so important to me is because it's I was going to say the biggest voice, but like one of the biggest voices in our world right now. Everybody's listening to Joe Rogan. And to discredit somebody like that and gaslight him like that and throw him under the bus seems calculated. The Blackout Report said, why would you say, quote, you've lost your marbles to someone on antidepressants? Also very weird. Also very weird. I feel like the you've lost your marbles and get off the antidepressant thing is weaponizing a vulnerability of Theo Von's to gaslight him into thinking that he's gone down the rabbit hole too far and he's lost it and He needs to, just come hang out at the mothership. It's all good. Just come hang out with us. Woof, you've spent too much time alone. And it's wrong. It feels very wrong that you would do that to someone who's putting their life on the line, their business on the line, their podcast on the line, their new movie, Bus Boys. Everybody should go out and buy a ticket to that movie. First of all, before all of this happened, I was like, this is going to be my first date night. After Baby Boy, I want to go see Bus Boys. It looks so good. Bus Boys looks amazing. Tim Dillon's in it, David Spade, Theo Vaughn. It looks like an old school comedy. Like, I'm very excited to go see this movie. But now I feel like everybody go buy your Bus Boys ticket. Go to the movie or not, we got to support Theo. Put your money where your mouth is. Totally weaponized his use of antidepressants. And Theo's been so vulnerable and so open about that. It's like, Joe Rogan, why don't you stop cold plunging, bro? You're doing all these cold plunges and only eating red meat, and I hate to tell you, but your face is looking like a leather bag. I don't think it's working. You've aged 10 years in the last few. I'm just saying, eat an apple. Get a couple blueberries in. Right? Not trying to go after somebody, but, I don't think the cold plunge and the meat only is working for you, bro. I really don't. Sorry. That's just me. Anybody else feel that way? Aged a lot quickly. So. Exactly. Drink your celery juice. Drink your celery juice. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to get on here and, let you know my thoughts on the situation. I felt compelled to do so. Why? I don't know. Truly, I don't. Pam Bondi was fired yesterday. Here's a picture of this. Attorney General, her picture is in the trash can now. People are saying Kash Patel is next. Are they going to be the scapegoats? Are they going to be the ones thrown under the bus? That's what people want to know. Could be. And what will Kash Patel go back to doing? Will he go back to being a hockey coach? Will he go back to being a hockey coach? Because there's those pictures out there. Truly right now, my whole entire X feed, and maybe it's just my algorithm because I'm talking about it, is the Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan thing. Maybe it's my algorithm. Anybody else? I'm trying to give you more updated stuff, but man, it is one after another. The one thing that happened on that interview that I will say was positive is that Joe Rogan called out Spencer Pratt in a positive way, who's running for mayor of LA. And I'm in support of Spencer Pratt, 100%. I hope Spencer Pratt wins. How in the world could LA reelect Karen Bass? She's an epic fail. Epic fury or epic fail? My God, I'm getting matcha all over the place. Good thing I'm wearing green today, Just cover it up. Keep going. Karen Bass on a trip in Africa as her city burned to the ground. Reservoirs were empty. Cut the fire fund. Homeless has exploded and gotten out of control. Spencer Pratt, obviously a ex-reality TV star, but studied political science at USC. And after he saw nobody was going to do anything, decided to take things into his own hands. And that's what we have to do nowadays. Spencer Pratt jumps to number 2 in the LA mayor race as latest poll shows voters still overwhelmingly undecided. We'll see about that. I feel like Spencer Pratt in LA is kind of like people that wanted to vote for Trump for a while, right? A lot of people were going to vote for Trump, but they just didn't want to say it. They didn't want to say it because they didn't want to be judged. But they went to the polls, they voted. And obviously we know what happened. President Trump won, and I think the same thing's going to happen with Spencer Pratt. I hope. You know, it's weird. Spencer Pratt's sister comes out against him. Spencer Pratt would be great as the mayor of Palisades, but not the mayor of LA. Can you imagine if your sibling did that? I got 2 siblings. I got a brother and a sister. And let me tell you right now, if one of them did that to me, woo! We're Italian. That'd be like the mafia. I had a brother? Who? I never had a brother. Find him. Like, whether you agree or you don't, you can never, ever go against the family like that. And that's how some people are treating politics. People actually think that this administration is their family. That's what they're acting like. My lights to the side. Brighten me up a little bit. People are acting like Trump and, J.D. Vance and, the administration. It's like their family. Can't go against the family. Look again, they aren't your family. Okay? That's different. And Spencer's funny. You guys are saying. Easter weekend, you guys. I don't know what your guys' plans are. Usually I host a huge Easter party. And this year, because I have a new baby, I'm just going to take a nap. Hopefully. But there's a video going around that I haven't seen yet, but I've been told about it from everybody. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Here it is. In 2012, a UFO expert, Chris Bledsoe, made a prediction to the Pentagon that thousands of orbs would rise up and appear from the oceans in Easter 2026 when Iran and Israel started bombing each other. Also, the official logo for U.S. Space Force Intelligence. People are saying, not sure what that is. A cult-like. Let's watch this video together, you guys. I gotta blow this up. All right.
And I put this in writing to the Pentagon in 2012 when I told this. Okay?
2012.
One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of, I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere.
Great.
And I told the government, if this happens, the orb's going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me.
April 2026.
Yeah.
And okay, you've put yourself in it there, Chris.
It's okay. It's okay.
There's going to be Chris Bledsoe says April 2026 is when it all happens.
But I can tell you this, when I told this to the government about 2026, I just repeated what she told me. They immediately put remote viewers on. And all of a sudden, all the remote viewers are saying, oh my God, 2026, 2027, something is going to happen.
2026, Easter.
What will happen?
The star will, the alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines, and it comes out that that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026.
Easter of 2026.
I gave him the specific time. And it was with Robert Grant that I told him about this alignment and all. And he's like, oh my God. He's been looking for this ruby. This little ruby you have to find and place it between the paws of Sphinx to make this event that he knows is going to happen in 2026. I said, Robert, it's not a ruby. It's the Star of Regulus. He looks at it, he's like, oh my God, it's the King Star. So what's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, I like have to be honest. I've been avoiding watching that clip and seeing that clip because I'm like, I just had my, my baby. And I want to spend as much time with him as possible. I don't know what's going to happen on Easter 2026. Chrysanthemug, good to see you. But hopefully, like he predicted in the beginning, it's something positive. It wakes people up. Hopefully we can turn this ship around and people are like, we need to prioritize peace. That would be the best situation. Who is that we just listened again? That's a comment on Instagram. That is Chris Bledsoe. He's a UFO expert. He said an alien woman came to him in 2012 and told him about this. And that was the prediction. And obviously here we are. A lot of that has come true in April of 2026. And again, I hope this is, if something does happen, it's for the positive. Now, a lot of times, predictions like this are made. Everybody goes crazy and nothing happens. Nothing happens. But the star of Regulus will be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx, like he had predicted back in 2012 on Easter in Egypt this Sunday. It would give the saying, he is risen, a whole new meaning. He is risen again. But we will see. So look, are we in end times? I don't know. It seems like, a lot of scripture from Revelations you could fit into the time right now. But I always have faith in humanity. I believe we have free will. God gave us free will. And if we want, we can work together to turn this ship around. And that's what I'm hoping for. And that is why I feel so passionate about Theo Vaughn speaking the truth. Speaking for good versus evil. Not, I'm tied to this administration. I did this interview. I have to be on this side. I have to be on that side. No, I'm on the side of God. I'm on the side of truth. I'm on the side of peace. I'm on the side of hope. I'm on the side of faith. I'm on the side of the light. Are you on the side of light or are you on the side of darkness? That's the decision. Now, it's not right or left, Republican, Democrat. It's not, is it going to be J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom? No, it's going to be, is it God? Is it Satan? Is it going to be angels or fallen angels? What side are you on? That is where we are right now. Period. period, end, dot, bah. So enough of this other stuff. Red, blue, elephant, donkey. It's all irrelevant. You ain't getting into heaven because you're campaigning for one of those parties. You're getting into heaven if you're campaigning for good and light and God. And that's just that. And, I'm going to just keep trying to do my part and my best. And I don't know if it'll make a difference, but even if it makes a little tiny difference, a little tiny ripple, it goes out. And that being said, I want to say a quick prayer before I get off. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. If you're not familiar with my TikToks, I usually end my lives with a quick prayer. So here we go. Dear God, I just want to thank you for all of our blessings in this world, all of the good people in this world. And I want to pray first and foremost for world peace. I want to pray for world peace. I want all of us on YouTube and Instagram, anybody that's going to watch this in this moment, to pray for world peace. I want to pray for all of the people that are dealing with war, that are hungry, that are homeless, that you provide them a path to food and shelter. I would like to ask the angels of protection over all of the people that are dealing in these horrible circumstances to provide them a shelter of peace. I want to pray for all of the people in the world that are feeling lost and depressed and confused and alone, that they find a path to comfort, they find a path to peace. I want to pray for all the truth tellers in the world, that their voices are not silenced, that they get extra protection during this time. I want to pray for anybody that's dealing with an illness of any kind, cancer, brain degenerative disease, autoimmune condition, pancreatitis, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, eating disorders, infertility, that you lead them to a path of healing and you give them answers so that they can recover and fully heal and restore their bodies and their souls and their brains. I want to pray for everybody on this listening and all of the good people in the world. I want to pray no evil weapons or plagues formed against you shall prosper. And I want to pray for all the good people in the world to unite, to fight the light and snuff out the darkness. I want to pray for the light. I want to pray this in God's name. Amen. Thank you guys so much for being here and for staying on and being a part of that prayer with me. I do believe in the power of prayer. I think that it's very powerful. I believe in high vibrations. And I do think that together we can make a difference. John Tron 3000 said, that was great. Thank you, Danny. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know if I'll be on again. We'll see what happens with the star on, we'll see what happens with the star in Egypt on Easter. I rarely ever have a drink. I might have a glass of champagne this weekend. You know what I mean? The star's coming. It's Easter. If not, I'll be drinking my matcha. But might get crazy and have a glass of champagne. Either way, God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Naomi, thank you so much. Much love to you and yours. Right back at you. God bless you guys, and I will see you later. Instagram, if you guys are just getting here and you want to rewatch this, feel free to check it out on my YouTube, WFF News. Just starting to build that up. Very small, only have a few hundred survivors. I was reading a comment. Followers, subscribers. So feel free to join me on YouTube. All right, you guys, God bless. I'll see you soon. Bye now.